All right, hello, welcome back to the channel. Today with me, for the second time on the channel,
Am I
we
the
have
first to Pete?
Yeah, you're the first. Well, yeah. We have
Maybe.
Bradley from
Not Bradley, it's Brad.
Brad.
Or you can call me Master.
Oh,
But only Siri does that right now. So.
From Tactical Development, and obviously I wanted to talk about the new P365 Macro, and like who better to talk about it with than Brad here, because he's Mr. P365.
I have a few of them, and I make some accessories for them, so
Yeah.
I kind of understand them a little bit.
Yeah, and this isn't like a review or anything. Obviously, we have just the display of guns in front of us. So we're going to talk about.
And just to be safe, we do have a Glock with us.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case.
So I want to see what you thought initially about, and when you first saw it. I don't know. Did you have any like heads up before? Did you know?
The only heads up I had was the same as everybody else. The little leak from Alina Mitralik posted it on her Instagram and kind of got reposted, even though she took hers down.
Oh,
So I kind of saw it coming, and
Yeah.
but looking at that picture, I could kind of study and see the little differences, maybe more so than a lot of people, just because I handle these for my profession. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I was interested in it, and it was interesting.
Yeah. And then I didn't know until. I mean, let's get one thing straight. This isn't like a the world's changed type of.
Oh, I've heard that a
announcement.
few times. I've heard that. The X Macro is a game machine. It's like, oh boy.
So, all right. So the initial, there's people saying it's the greatest thing to ever have come out in the history of carry guns, and then there's the people that are like, I would use anything else.
So when it came out, to me, it was, it's a 365 at its heart. So it's not, there's no new FCU, there's no different trigger, there's no
Yeah.
different firing mechanism, there's no different slide, there's no different milling of the slide. It's a 365 with a longer grip and an integrated non-proprietary rail. So a 1913 rail, which is great.
Yeah.
Of course, I make an accessory that adapted that, and so I saw that and I was like, okay, that's good that they finally opened their eyes to having a real rail on there, and that it wouldn't make the gun any thicker.
Yeah.
And so my first reactions on most things, I don't ever just jump to the hype, because I can see how companies will spend, millions of dollars on marketing, getting it out to the what are we calling those YouTubers now? Gun tubers?
Shill tubers.
Yeah, that are just like, yeah, do hands-on, do this, but don't release it till this day, and then all of a sudden it releases all at the same time. And they got their gun for free, so they're gonna talk it up a little bit, and hopefully they're gonna be honest with you. But yeah, so I kind of looked at it with that grain of salt, like, okay, it is what it is. If you've seen my video, which hopefully you'll just put a little tag right here.
Yeah, and I watched your video before, because I was just like, I wonder what Brad has to say.
Brad has to say, and basically to put it down in a bullet point, I said, if you're carrying with a 15-round mag right now, then get the macro frame. I mean, at least the frame, because then you're getting more rounds at the same length.
Yeah.
But if you carry with a 12, keep your XL.
Yeah, and Sig may be the only company doing this right now, which is just consistently coming out with different versions of things. I guess make the modularity even more.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a, everyone's doing it other than theirs. It's micro changes.
Micro changes.
They don't want to say, oh, this is our subcompact, this is our compact, this is our full size in the 365 world, because that'll monopolize the 320 world.
Yeah.
So they're making these micro changes. You got the 365, you get the 365 XL with a longer slide and a longer grip. And then you get the 365 SAS, and then you get the 365X, which is the standard and the XL merged. And so they have those slight variants, and really in the end it creates that kind of modular world where you can just, and if you've seen any of my content on Instagram, or I just have so many frames and slides and FCUs that it's like, yeah, you can make it how you want.
Which is like, I see it as a form, whether good or not, of throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. certain slides are not being produced, I think, as many as other slides, like maybe the SAS version, the SAS.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people really care for that one.
That's the only one I haven't purchased. I don't get behind those
And
sites.
so, again, I think they're just like, here's a good idea for somebody.
Yeah.
And then they'll make enough to at least satisfy the few people who do want that, and then hop on these bigger trends, I guess.
And similar to that is like we'll actually get a little hands on here. This is a first gen slide. I did Cerakote it OD green because I mean, who doesn't love OD green? But there's no rear sight, right? And so they started picking up on that, and so now all slides are starting to come out with that rear sight, iron sight, behind the optic. And so you'll start seeing that more common because that's something that's sticking and more popular because all the aftermarkets like your Zev started doing it and others started doing it. And so they're picking up on little things like that and adding that in the OEM package. So did we answer the macro launch hype? Not hype. I don't want to say it was overhyped or anything, but there was a lot of hype. I had a lot of people, hey, did you see this? What's your thought on the macro? And yeah, it is. It's a good gun. It's a 365 XL with a longer grip. It's the same size slide. I want to make that clear. I get that a lot. I get a lot of requests to take a picture of the macro with an XL slide on it. It is an XL slide. It's just their comped XL slide.
So this takes me into the next question would be like, all right, who are the people that would want this? And you kind of poked a little bit at like, okay, the people who already carry with the, was this the 15 round?
15.
So this is the 15 round magazine base extension. And this is the one I carry with, which is instantly when this came out, I was like, okay, well then I can literally have the same size gun with +2 over this. Which in that case, I don't want to buy the whole gun because I'm not super like, I don't really need that comp built into the slide.
Another FCU.
I love this slide. It's really nice. The Zev cut's good. So I'm like, all right, I think the frame is all I need. I love the 365 XL. It's I have 2 carry guns. I try to keep it as minimal as possible, but they're the complete opposites. I have the 365 XL, which is a tiny little baby boy, and in the summer it's really nice. And honestly, year round it's really nice. It's not like there has to be a summer gun, winter gun. But then I really do love the Glock 34. And so it's like the complete opposite on the big scale. But it's because I was like, well, I like the Glock 17 a lot, and I like the Surefire light a lot. It's my favorite switches. It's one of my favorite lights overall. I was like, well, if I'm already carrying a G17 with a light, might as well go G34. So,
and that brings to that function and form. I feel like when your slide can line up with the light like that, it does.
Oh,
it's like
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. So now, I'll pull up the macro then.
Macro.
These both are 17 rounds flush fit, correct?
No. The Macro's magazine that's one thing people need to realize. The macro, you can't compare the frame to the frame of another because the magazine sticks out 1/4 inch plus the base pad, so a little bit more than a quarter.
Oh, interesting.
Just to get the 17. So you have to have the mag in there to compare the length of the gun.
All right, but again, either way, then we're getting same capacity for a much smaller of a package.
Yeah, so the P365X macro, I'm going to add this in there. They said it's called the X macro, which means will they make an XL macro? Will they make a bigger slide for the macro? I'm saying yes. What's your prediction? Put it in the comments.
Which will be a P320 Slim.
P320 Slim. So that's something that you need to mention it. Who is the macro for? And I actually have a neighbor that is buying his first gun, and he wanted to shoot him. And I was like, dude, I actually have to prototype. Actually, this is one of the base pads, this +2. I wanted to make sure that it would load the rounds in a +2 without changing the spring. And so we shot this, we shot the XL. And in the end, I recommended the macro to him. He had a little bit bigger hands. He wasn't sure if he was going to conceal, but he wanted the ability to conceal later, which you can just buy a $40 frame and now you can conceal it because it's an XL slide. And so I did. I recommended the Macro because you're getting a comp slide built in for that price. A lot of people are bashing $800 for a gun.
Yeah.
You're getting a comp built in.
Yeah.
So you gotta, when they come out with the P365 Macro that doesn't have an X, or maybe doesn't have the word, it doesn't have the comp, just a vanilla slide, it's gonna be down in the $399.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to replace your barrel to a threaded barrel. You don't have to buy a comp. You know, there's some benefit in there.
And so that's where I recommend that Macro to those people that are not sure if they're going to carry with it. They don't have another gun. They don't have another 365. But he was thinking between the XL, the Macro, or a 320. And I firmly believe that the Macro, we'll just say Macro, or the XL, shoots better than the 320 compact because of the higher, the ability to get your hand much higher on that slide. And so it just shoots a lot better. Flatter. Better is like a horrible word. And shoots flatter. It's more manageable, the recoil.
And that is the main reason I switched over from carrying a P320 X carry to this.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I shoot this way better than I could shoot that one. And well, maybe you did make the point. It could be bore axis. It could be many other things. Just there's so much control. There's so much more control I can put over this frame than I can a P320. Well, that's it for this little video. Okay, so if you liked the video, yes, like, subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. I like having Brad over because he's not far from the shop and always has interesting stuff to say.
I tried to not match you today by not wearing green.
I thought today too. I was like, I did all green last time.
So now I'm all black.
Yeah. But I do want to see in the comments what you guys think about the newer edition and what do you think about the P365 in general. Is something that you're willing to go, I was going to say balls deep in. Is it a pool that you're willing to dive into? All right, so that's it for this video. If you made it this far, hint, we may be making a Raider for the P365.
Can't say that.
Ben's already said it.
Drop a comment what we should call it.
The Micro, the Macro.
Macro Raider?
Raider Lite?
I like Pocket Raider. That just sounds so cool.
Pocket Raider. Well, either way, we'll see you guys the next time.
Yep.